Double Take is the third episode of the first season of the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, and I'm pleased to say I preferred it to the first two. If you've not heard me talk about the other two episodes, basically I love Sylvester and Tweety, but this series has been kind of disappointing. So I'm going to watch one more episode after this one, and if the next one is good, I'll continue until I feel like I just don't want to continue anymore. But for now, I'm feeling a little bit more hopeful, as this one was certainly better. I wouldn't say I loved it, but the quality does seem to be improving. So there will be some spoilers as I discuss what happens in this. I don't have too many thoughts. There's not a lot that I want to mention that I particularly loved because I'm still only slightly enjoying it, but I will mention a couple of things. So spoilers from now. This one takes place in Denmark, and Granny is being framed, it seems, for committing these crimes. And I was curious about this. We have this really brilliant start where we have all of these newspaper articles of Granny committing all of these crimes, and it's baffling. How could she possibly be doing this? And obviously the characters go over and try and investigate, and I didn't work out what was going on, and I will of course explain what happened. And we have a character who is quite interesting. It's a character called Moogooguypan, and he's voiced by, well, I knew he was voiced by Jim Cummings before I realised he was voiced by Jim Cummings, because he definitely does sound quite a bit like Pete. Pete, of course, being from other Disney cartoons, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Funhouse, etc. He does sound quite a bit like Pete, so I knew it was Jim Cummings before I went onto IMDb, but nevertheless, we have this character who actually has a history with Granny, and I know I said spoilers, but I won't go into too much detail, but I liked that backstory. I think it made a lot of sense, and he was framing Granny, and I loved the scenes. Maybe loved's too strong a word, but I was quite fascinated by the scenes where we have Granny and the fake Granny, and how the fake Granny would mirror Granny, and it was well done. I thought it was pretty decent. So that part of the story I thought was well enough written and quite interesting. Then we have obviously Sylvester and Tweety, and I feel like Sylvester and Tweety don't really have a very interesting role to play in the Sylvester and Tweety mysteries, which sounds ridiculous, but I just don't find their involvement that interesting. I feel like they've used their names, the characters, to create a mystery show, but I feel like the roles they play are just not that good. They do obviously have a role to play here and there, but the whole episode could have worked without them, really, and that's a bit of a shame. We did have some cute moments between Sylvester and a stuffed Tweety, which I thought looked pretty cool. I like the design of the fake Tweety. But honestly, I love the characters, and I just don't feel like their roles are very well written within this series. And that might be one of the reasons why I haven't really loved this so far. I also haven't found the narratives to be that interesting, but I did with this one. I thought this was quite an interesting story, and I was keen to find out what would happen. So I'm hoping we get the same or better with the next one. If the quality is increasing as they go on, then that's a good thing. If the quality drops again with the fourth episode, maybe I'll put it to one side and come back to it later. But I'm going to go in with an open mind, as I did with Double Take, and I'm pleased I did because I relatively enjoyed it. I still can't say that I loved it. I'm not that enthusiastic about it. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, but in general, things seem to be on the up. So for now, I will say that I relatively enjoyed Double Take, and I will try and look forward to the next episode. Fingers crossed. If it's the same quality as Double Take, I'll keep going. We'll see what happens, and if you haven't seen Double Take, then maybe it's worth watching.